sure to explore and discover all Orson has to offer. With so much to see and do, Crusader is a journey worth making.
Sizzling hot patty, those crisp greens, ripe tomatoes, zesty pick mix, and that crave sauce.
Marks the centennial anniversary of the first orbital platform built on Crusader. Join us in celebrating 100 years of incredible engineering and the tireless efforts of those who work every day to keep Orson afloat.
Sink is seven for the same old ship. Looking to expand your fleet without emptying your bank account? Ready to take your trip to the next level? Sounds like you're ready to win.
One second, all right? See you later. Ease up, I'm in the middle of something. One second, all right? One second, all right?
The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Please clear the hatch. Shuttle will be departing. Shuttle is approaching next station. If this is your stop, please prepare to disembark. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers.
Crusader Industries' proud history of transports has crafted a landmark vehicle, the Genesis Starliner. This ship utilizes award-winning manufacturing techniques and the highest quality parts to create one thing: the best generation passenger ship at a price to fit any budget. The Crusader Industries Genesis Starliner. Space travel as it was meant to be. Contact the Crusader Industries to find out more.
Thank you for visiting Orson, the heart and headquarters of Crusader Industries.
Feel free to take a look around. We've got a pretty good selection.
Be sure to explore and discover all Orson has to offer. So much to see and do, Crusader is a journey worth making. ongoing Crusader Cares program to improve the lives of everyone in the Empire. Crusader Industries will be donating 10% of all spaceport food sales to help stamp out hunger. Together, we're making a difference. '2955 marks the centennial anniversary of the first orbital platform built on Crusader. Join us in celebrating 100 years of incredible engineering and the tireless efforts of those who work every day to keep Orson afloat.
Sick is settling for the
First class crew for Starliner TRL-13M-C, please report to Hangar R3. TRL-13M-C, crew to Hangar R3.
New visitors to Orson will sometimes find that they are experiencing a mild sense of vertigo as they acclimate to the elevation. Remember to breathe freely, stay hydrated, and take...
You are clear to launch.
next shuttle is approaching the station. At Orson Skyway Shuttle Service, we aim to make getting there half the fun. Please enjoy your flight. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Please clear the hatch. Shuttle will be departing. Approaching next station. If this is your stop, please prepare to disembark. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Providing connections to all major platforms, Crusader Industries is happy to offer free and convenient transit to all visitors aboard the Orson Skyway Shuttle Service. Have a pleasant stay. Shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. A friendly reminder to check for your personal belongings before and after all shuttle flights, and to dispose of any trash in appropriate receptacles. No stress, no mess. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Enjoying the view? Our recently redesigned last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Providing connections to all major platforms, Crusader Industries is happy to offer free and convenient transit to all visitors aboard the Orson Skyway Shuttle service. Have a pleasant stay. Mr. Shuttle, not a problem. The next shuttle is approaching the station. At Orson Skyway Shuttle service, last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Providing connections to all major platforms, Crusader Industries is happy to offer free and convenient transit to all visitors aboard the Orson Skyway Shuttle service. Have a pleasant stay. The next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Missed your shuttle? Not a problem. Another shuttle will be along shortly. At Orson Skyway Shuttle service, more flights means less worries. The next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Enjoy. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. A friendly reminder to check for your personal belongings before and after all shuttle flights, and to dispose of any trash at appropriate receptacle. The next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. At Orson Skyway Shuttle service, last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Miss your shuttle? Not a problem. Another shuttle will be along shortly. At Orson Skyway Shuttle service, more flights means less worries. The next shuttle is approaching the station. passengers, the shuttle is preparing to depart. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers, the shuttle is preparing to depart. Missed your shuttle? Not a problem. Another shuttle will be along shortly. At Orison Skyway Shuttle Service, more flights means less worries. Providing connections to all. The next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. A friendly reminder to check your personal belongings before and after all shuttle flights, and to dispose of any trash at appropriate receptacles. No stress, no mess. Providing connections to all major platforms, Crusader Industries is happy to offer free and convenient transit to all visitors aboard the Orison Skyway Shuttle Service. Have a pleasant stay. The next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Enjoying the view? Our recently redesigned Crusader Industries shuttlecraft feature expanded vista opportunities with their next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call. Make getting there half the fun. Please enjoy your flight. Missed your shuttle? Not a problem. Another shuttle will be along shortly. At Orison Skyway Shuttle Service, more flights means less worry. The next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. A friendly reminder to check for your personal belongings before and after all shuttle flights, and to dispose of any trash at appropriate receptacles. No stress, no mess. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Missed your shuttle? Not a problem. Another shuttle will be along shortly. At Orison Skyway Shuttle Service, more flights means less worries. The next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Providing connections to all major platforms, Crusader Industries is happy to offer free and convenient transit to all visitors aboard the Orison Skyway Shuttle Service. Have a pleasant stay. The next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Missed your shuttle? Not a problem. Another shuttle will be along shortly. At Orison Skyway Shuttle Service, more flights means less worries. The next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Missed your shuttle? Not a problem. Another shuttle will be along shortly. At Orison Skyway Shuttle Service, more flights means less worries. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Enjoying the view? Our recently redesigned Crusader Industries shuttlecraft. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. The next shuttle is approaching the station.
Hey, Measuring 1. Nice blue suit. Thank you. It is the new armor, the Grey Cat Arrow armor.
Enjoying the
Part of the new patch.
Our recently redesigned
How it
Crusader
looks.
Industries shuttlecraft features expanded vista opportunities.
Liking the legs and the chest armor a lot. Helmet's really cool too.
approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Providing connections to all major platforms, Crusader Industries is happy to offer free and convenient transit to all visitors aboard the Orson Skyway Shuttle service. Have a pleasant stay. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. At Orson Skyway Shuttle Service, we aim to make getting there half the fun. Please enjoy your flight. A friendly reminder to check for your personal belongings before and after all shuttle flights, and to dispose of any trash at appropriate receptacles. No stress, no mess. The next shuttle is approaching the station. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Friendly reminder to check for your personal belongings before and after all shuttle flights, and to dispose of any trash at appropriate receptacles. No stress, no mess.
Sorry, I can't see the chat while playing, so that's on my fault. Let's see. Blue has always been my favorite color, hence my character in story. Blue Shogun. Yes, that is true, Megagen. Station looks real nice, lively, kind of Starfleet Academy. Well, it's actually one of my personal favorites in the game right now. It's the new, I don't even know what it's called, Dunlo station. It's a shuttle station. So it's essentially a space subway. And what's cool about it is we're currently in a cloud city. We're in a floating city right now. Really, really cool. I need to find a window to actually show you how cool it is.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to
I mean, you can see some of it. The kind of sunset over there. You can see some of the light shining through. Right there. There's some clouds.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Missed your shuttle? Not a problem. Another shuttle will be along shortly. At Orson Skyway Shuttle Service, the next shuttle is approaching the station. passengers. The shuttle is preparing. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing.
In-game chat's on fire right now. Oh, here's a window.
Passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
On my way. Alright, let's see. So, there you have it. We are currently in a floating subway platform
A friendly
in the middle of a gas giant. Well, not in the middle of the gas giant, but in a gas giant
and to dispose of
in
any
space.
trash at appropriate receptacles. No stress, no mess. Providing connections to all major platforms, Crusader Industries is happy that shuttle is approaching the station. The shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passenger shuttle is a shuttle just prepared to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
Alright, I'm just switching my push to talk here so this way I can actually. Impressive, most impressive. Indeed. Seriously, this is the first ever. I wasn't like, boasting or, whatever. And yesterday I did a live stream that was titled First Ever Fully Rendered and Explorable Gas Giant in a Video Game. That is the truth. This is the first ever gas giant who with the Star Citizen treatment of, anywhere on the planet you can go to it. I mean, we're currently in a spaceport on the main city here, on the floating city of Orison. I went to the spaceport from the space shuttle. We're gonna go back there when we meet up with our new made buddies here. But I wanted to head outside and show you the view. Look at this.
As a reminder, flight status and hangar information
3D, fully rendered 3D volumetric clouds. Effectively, real clouds in a video game. You should have seen it when it was daytime. Star Wars isn't the only sci-fi franchise with gas giants. Alien Isolation was set on the space station, yeah, above KG-348. I know. I'm not saying that this is the only one with a gas giant. I'm saying this is the first game to have a fully explorable gas giant. A fully rendered... Like, the gas giant's a physical element in the game, made up of just layers upon layers upon layers of clouds and gas. And the deeper you go, the stronger the gravity is, to the point where it will actually crush your ship and destroy you. Destroy your ship, blow you up, because of gravity, not because of a death wall. Yeah, this is hardly, Star Citizen's hardly doing something new with gas giant. They're doing, no, that's not true. They're not doing something new and having a gas giant. They're doing something new with having a gas giant. And as I said yesterday too, like, who cares if it's first? Who does it best? I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the in-game chat I have on the left side of the screen in yellow, contrast with everything. But during the daytime, those clouds are pink, white, and it's really, really gorgeous. And the entire, so let's lore, right? Okay, so here, how does Orison stay in the clouds? To achieve the perfect level of atmospheric comfort, the vibrant city of Orison carefully maintains its precise orbital height above the gas giant Crusader through controlled firing of Seraph-class thrusters situated below each platform. Precisely timed to prevent shearing and stabilization of the connected network of struts, each thruster is activated for a short burst, allowing Orison to stay firmly in place. Crusader locals often describe the gentle vibrations that accompany the periodic adjustments as Orison's free massage. Be sure to hold on and enjoy. And a little fun gameplay thing is if you're playing with a controller, when the thrusters do fire, your controller vibrates. That's just, they didn't need to do that, but they did. It's such a nice touch, attention to detail, and I love it. Yeah, this is so for lore's sake, Crusader Industries is a ship manufacturer. They make the Genesis Starliner, the Hercules Starlifter, the Ares Starfighter, which is a gun with a ship built around it, and the Mercury Star Runner. A bunch of ships that are manufactured here at Orison in the gas giant. They have shipyards that you can kind of see all the way in the distance over there. We can actually go visit one of them later. We can do that now. Let's do it now. Just to take the elevator. You're going the wrong way. Oh, here's a burger joint then. Yeah, so Crusader Industries owns the planet of Crusader. And they have their little floating city. Justice terminals over there. Hope not, but it seems to be the case. He's still here, that's good. We want Providence platform, perfect. And what's great about this city, unlike the other cities are really cool. You know, our Area 18 of ArcCorp has a very cyberpunk feel. ArcCorp as a whole feels very cyberpunk. You know, Microtech is very kind of luxurious, but you know, very corporate. And Loreville is kind of also very cyberpunk, but less high tech, more, you know, downtrodden, more like, you know, the downtown area. But Orison feels like an actual place. Like, you know, that the terminal here, the platform for the shuttlecrafts is, you know, I've been to that before in real life. Not this specifically, obviously, because it doesn't exist, but I've been to a subway station that has a very similar architecture and design, and a very large platform like this. You know, there are aspects of the city where like you go to it and like I've been to a real world equivalent of it somewhere.
Approaching next station. If this is your stop, please prepare to disembark. The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
So this is the industrial platform where they have all their Crusader stuff. Here's a little model of the Starlifter.
Crusader Industries adopted Stanton 2 as its new home in 2865.
And I believe, yep, here it is. We can actually watch them build a Hercules Starlifter. And we've flown this thing a bunch of times, but it's kind of cool seeing, like, okay, here's the shipyards. Or at least a shipyard. Also got little models not for sale at the moment. Here's the Star Runner. Here's the Starlifter. The Hercules Starlifter's engines, so it's the Starlifter. I love this. They actually take it apart and show you all the detail. They didn't have to do this at all. They did. I mean, if we're comparing Crusader to a real-world industry, in terms of the ships they make, like the type of ships they make, Boeing, because they make both military as well as civilian craft. Like they make the Star Citizen equivalent of the 747, but they also make military bombers. Like the ship here, this is specifically the C2 from the looks of it, but the A2 is a bomber, and the M2 is a military transport. Honestly, the Ares is like the A-10 Warthog of Star Citizen, the gun with a ship built around it. Obviously, that different thing there, but it's still pretty cool. People gathered here like they're gonna watch a movie.
hard at work developing new innovative manufacturing techniques. When it comes to the future of spaceflight, at Providence platform, the sky's the limit. All made possible thanks to the most important part of Crusader Industries, our incredible family of workers. Enjoy your visit. Welcome to the Crusader Industries.
Alright, so I just switched over. I just got my phone out so I can see the chat better. Let's see. So Magic One says, I still say Star Wars had a Alien Isolation if Star Wars had an Alien Isolation style story. I'm not even going to continue reading that because you know my rules here. Anyway, good attention to detail is needed in making good product. Yes, it is. It also shows that you care. That's the thing, is a lot of times today we don't, a lot of stuff doesn't, it lacks passion, it lacks that, obviously it lacks imagination, creativity, and morale, that's for sure. I mean, everything nowadays does, but a lot of things also lack passion and that care to even put the attention to detail, let alone the care at all. And Megwin says, burger joint? What one? Burger King, Good Burger, In-N-Out Burger, Burger Kahuna Burger, Big Kahuna Burger, Burger Shot, Surfin' Burger. There's one in the Bronx called was it like Shake Shack or something like, or not Shake Shack. I think Yogurt Burger or something like that. It's not. It's a yogurt / burger place. I don't remember the specific name, but yogurt and burger are in the name. No, it's called Whammers. Their burger joint in Star Citizen is called Whammers. Their tagline, cave in to your craving. And no, not Craven the Hunter. Craven, like craving, but without the E. Now what's really cool, the regulator should message us when he's back. What's really cool though is we can kind of go and explore a bit here. Kind of get more of the industrial feel of Orison and the engineering side of things. Looks like here is the trading area for merchants to come and pick up and deliver cargo. This just looks like where we came from. Of course, we can go this way. Go to the cooling station, which eventually will have gameplay. Like, there's actually going to be gameplay on the city itself. I mean, there's gameplay right now. But there's going to be, like, dedicated missions and contracts that you can do on the city itself. That they talked about, you know, stuff like, okay, one of the thrusters on Orison's platforms is malfunctioning. I need someone to go in there and help stabilize it while we do something else, stuff like that. So, you know, a lot of engineering type stuff. It'll be really cool. Going the wrong. Okay, doing the platforms at night is so much cooler than during the day. I would have thought otherwise, but regulator just markers showing up 15 million kilometers away. That's not good. 19 now. We got some cargo area over here. Looks like this will be where you go to physically pick up and deliver your massive loads of cargo. Can't go there. Wait. Nope. Here's our shopping center, where I got my armor. And pick up some MedPens in case we get into some trouble. I've used a few earlier today. Walked in fire. Was not a smart idea. Anyone says, that's why my story has taken me a while to finish. I care about the attention to detail. Whammers, is that a take on Whoppers? Yes, absolutely. It is most certainly a take on Whoppers. I mean, one of the biggest fast food things in Star Citizen is called Big Benny's Noodles, which is, you know, kind of a take on the popularity of what's face, ramen noodles. Some of the actual. Buy some of. What is this? Maybe I'll buy something else. Not have water? They have water. Big Benny's? Not big, not B-E-N-I, it's B-E-N-N-Y. No, I've never heard Benny spelled that way before. B-E-N-I? Really? Sounds almost, anyone says, sounds almost like a take on Lethal Weapon 4's Uncle Benny. No, it's not at all. They have vending machines pretty much all across the verse, so I run into them, I'll show you. Nothing any here though. Get a better view of that ship being worked on. Of course, we're gonna have some lore here. Believe it or not, building large spaceships is hard. If you attempted to build them in traditional factories on a planet with Earth-like gravity, you'd be faced with massive amounts of challenges just to arrange the ship's pieces into place and keep them from collapsing during construction, which is why in almost all sci-fi, larger ships are traditionally built in orbit or in space entirely in shipyards. Which is why Crusader here is kind of unique, because they're doing it in a gas giant, so they have, you know, they have the leisure of, it's like a mix of best of both worlds, literally. Sometimes these larger ships can even leave the atmosphere after they're done, which is why most larger ships are finished in space. But space has its own set of issues. Sure, you don't have to worry about weight, but all your engineers and mechanics have to work in spacesuits, which is potentially more dangerous. On Crusader, our employees get the best of both techniques, lower gravity, and they can work in atmosphere. No wonder people love working here. Yep. I just mentioned it. Like, you can take off your helmet, you know, you see people walking around, breathable atmosphere. Check the specific composition of the atmosphere, and it's an Earth-like atmosphere. A little bit of argon, mostly nitrogen, oxygen, and CO2. Fried lice? It's fried rice, you plick. Uncle Benny in Lethal Weapon 4. I don't think I've ever seen Lethal Weapon 4. I saw 1, 2, and 3. I don't think I saw 4. I heard mixed things about it, so I just never watched it.
The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
I have a ship on a random landing pad over there.
Approaching next station. If this is your stop, please prepare to disembark.
Lethal Weapon 4 wasn't bad, says Maybe 1, very funny, but Lethal Weapon 3 is my favorite of the original films.
Shuttle is preparing to depart.
What do you mean of the original? Did they start making new ones? Please, God, no, stop making new ones. I know they did that TV show back in, what was it, like 2016?
Service. We aim to make getting there half the fun. Please enjoy your flight.
And now I keep seeing commercials, nowadays I keep seeing commercials for a Rush Hour TV show. Which is weird. It's just as weird as the Lethal Weapon TV show, in my opinion. And like, here you have not the actors that portrayed the characters that, you know, essentially gave those characters life. Type thing. Not saying that you can't, you know, I'm not trying to say like you can't have, you know, different actors portray the same character. It's just, it depends on what it is. For instance, Magnum PI, no, Tom Selleck is Magnum PI. There's no other Magnum. Whereas James Bond, personally, Sean Connery is my favorite, but I love Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan as well. Roger Moore did a good job too. It was just a bit more campy than I liked from James Bond, at least. That being said, though, I did really my personal favorite of the Roger Moores is the Greek lady. For Your Eyes Only. Get a good ship out. But before we do, let's see if we can mess with the ships in our inventory to make them better. For instance, the Hammerhead, one of my personal favorites. It's a light cruiser, very deadly, has a shit quantum drive. Maybe one says Lethal Weapon 1 and 2 were in the 80s, Lethal Weapon 3 and 4 were in the 90s. TV show was a few years ago. Yeah, I think it was 2000. I could be wrong. I think it was 2016 when it started. I think it ended since then. But no, yeah, the original. I mean, I just count 1, 2, 3, and 4 all as the original films. It's not like 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4 where there are different actors or whatever. No, it's all the same guys. It's just, you know, you can't have, unless you're doing the movie annually or every other year. There's no way you're gonna have all 4 of those films in the same decade. I really can't think of a trilogy, like a movie trilogy, or in this case quadrilogy, that actually had all the films in a single decade. And it doesn't, you know, and most of these films also, like, the first one started at the end of one decade, so then the rest were like in the next decade.
last and think twice before causing trouble. The Ares Starfire, a force to be reckoned with. Contact your Crusader Industries dealer to learn more. If you need it there fast and safe, the Mercury checks all the boxes expected of a dependable courier vessel and then some. Built with the same engineering and design principles that has made Crusader the go-to manufacturer for galactic transport on any scale.
Actually, we should be able to pull out the 890 at this point.
New standards for data and cargo commitments. Contact your local Crusader Industries dealer to learn more.
We pretty much, because this is the PTU, this isn't the live build, so I have access to all the ships for testing purposes. I have access to all the ships in the game for the PTU build. I can fly anything I want. I've flown everything already, but that doesn't mean I don't want to do it again.
Ready to sample the true beauty of Crusader? From the Empire-class cocktails to the breathtaking views at Oris's exclusive storage farm. Every moment's an experience.
Major One says, my James Bond is Pierce Brosnan. My favorite Bond film is the one that got me into the franchise, Tomorrow Never Dies. Tomorrow Never Dies is a good one. Solid opener, too. With, I just remember White Knight. That was the opener, White Knight. Where he's destroying the missiles and then they have the silly jet scene where he ejects the co-pilot scene.
Gallant, Daymar, and Yellow. These beautifully preserved moons offer adventure and stunning natural vistas just waiting to be discovered. Did you enjoy the stunning wonder of Crusader's very own gentle giants, Stormwalls? Then why not take one of your very own homes, the soft and lovable Finland Stormwall plush? Available throughout the term.
Yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies was good. My personal favorite of the Pierce Brosnan movies, Bond movies, was The World Is Not Enough. Then Tomorrow Never Dies. I know GoldenEye, is really good. And it is. It's just my personal favorite is The World Is Not Enough, and it probably because of it's the last film with Q, and how his send off in that film. Starters that he died after the film was finished, but his send off in that film was great. Always have an escape plan. The Lethal Weapon TV show started decent. The guy who played Riggs really worked his butt off. The Bad Boys film take almost forever to get made. Heck, the third one came out a few years ago, and they were in immediate talks for a fourth. Still waiting on it. And I never really watched any of the Bad Boy films. Yeah, I loved the Tomorrow Never Dies opening as well as the final battle. I plan on jet fighters similar to the planes in the opening being featured in my story. That's cool. It's cool, Mega Jenny. I never selected a ship. What do we fly? Let me put it this way. Do we fly a single-seater or a multi-crew? Given that we're making new friends here in the PTU, let's do multi-crew. And being that we're on Crusader, I'm going to take out a Crusader ship. Roll up a bit. Crusader. Let's take out the...
Want to get up close and personal with a pot of mighty Stormwalls? Curious about the history of Orison shipyards? Looking to learn about what keeps our platforms afloat? With convenient shuttle rides and interactive discovery slots, Crusader is open to
Love the aesthetic of this city. It's a perfect blend of contemporary and high-tech sci-fi. As one said, I would have liked in GoldenEye if 006 was just looking for Bond to understand him. Throughout he made attempts to kill Bond, but he seemed like he was hesitant. He warned him about the train bombs. And, you know, they have to make things dramatic. You gotta... I totally get what you're saying. You want the elevator over here? To the top deck we go. I love this. Here's like a giant... Essentially this entire deck is an engineering deck. My kind of jam. Weapons online, engines online, opening hangar doors.
You are clear to launch.
As you can see, this is the Hercules M2 Starlifter. Turning off VTOL, raising landing gear, taking off.
Thank you, and please visit again.
You can see the lattice structure of the entirety of Orison. The lattice structure, the struts layered upon each other, floating throughout the clouds. And days on Crusader seem to be anywhere of 5 to 6 hours, so... I spent the entirety of a day on Orison yesterday. And then some. Everyone continues saying, what would have made the ending to GoldenEye interesting is when he grabs his friend at the last minute, he's acknowledging that he does still care, and 006 asks him to let him go. Yeah, well... Like, you can't change what happened. You can, although you can probably make it. But no, GoldenEye's still a good movie. I think it was definitely the campiest, I think, of the Pierce Brosnan films. Actually, I say that, but then tomorrow, Die Another Day exists, so. Like, if you watch the Pierce Brosnan films, it's interesting because like the first one, they're still kind of reeling from the campiness of whatchamface, of Roger Moore, and then as the films, later films, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World's Not Enough, they get more serious, and then they just go full on camp serious with Die Another Day. That ain't Cloud City, that's multiple Cloud Cities at IJ1. No, the entirety of it is the city. Well, I mean, that's not actually true. Most of it is the city, the rest of it is the Crusader Industries shipyards. Where they make this ship, exactly. I just pulled out one of their new ships. Either Starlifter engines. Let's add some extra boost into that thrust. Burn, baby, burn. Doing alright on fuel. Wonder if we're high enough to quantum jump. You can see one of the moons in the top left corner. What's our altitude? Oh, we're still not high enough. One says Casino Royale wasn't bad, it still retains some campy charm, but Quantum of Solace Onward was so serious it lacks the charm. I hated Casino Royale. To the point, so much that I refused to watch any of the other Daniel Craig Bond films, and haven't to this day. So, to this day I haven't watched anything other than Casino Royale, in terms of Bond, post, like newer Bond, Daniel Craig Bond. I didn't like him as Bond. I didn't like the writing. I loved that they brought back whatchamface as N. Why am I blanking on her name, for God's sakes? While I try to remember her name, I'll continue anyways. I just didn't like him as Bond. It didn't feel like Bond. It lacked the, as you put it, charm. I felt it lacked the overall charm and just the feel that you have when you're in a James Bond movie. When you're watching a James Bond movie. From whatchamface. Even some of the bad, original bad ones like Moonraker and Octopussy and what's-my-face, you know, Die Another Day. Like, yeah, they're bad. Die Another Day especially is definitely the worst of the originals. I mean, it did effectively kill the franchise for a few years, but you know, the other ones, you know, they're bad, but in a good way, because the reason they're bad is just they're too silly. Judi Dench, thank you, Judi Dench. I love that. From up here, you'd think, oh, that's just right, the city on the ground. You know, the ground just a lighter color, right? No, there's no ground. The floating city. You just couldn't tell from here. At least in the dark, you can't. When it's daytime, it's obvious because you just see more clouds. We're 149,000. Holy shit, they actually have a compass on the HUD now. Now they just need to put that on our FPS HUD and we're good. Alright, so we're heading south. Or at least until we're out of the atmosphere. I mean, we're still going to be in the magnetic field of the planet, but... So therefore the compass would still be in effect. It just would be irrelevant. Should be able to jump now. Let's try it on an OM marker. On. Alright, we're in space now. Constructed how? Get this quantum travel bug. Everyone says, to be fair to Craig, Bond in the original novels wasn't written as a very handsome dude, and the films made Bond that way. That's not the problem I had with him as Bond. I'm referring more to his, portrayal of the character, not how he looks. I just wasn't a fan of his portrayal. That's really it. There wasn't really anything else. And everyone says, my stepdad's opinion on Man of Steel is that it reminded him of Casino Royale. It was about a young, inexperienced Superman making mistakes first day on the job as he tries to save the world. On the topic of Man of Steel, I have actually been watching the new Superman show, Superman and Lois, and I'm surprised to say it is not horrible. Definitely not like politically correct or anything like that. It's just like it is still like there is a lot of drama and annoying nonsense, essentially, like drama nonsense, like needless drama, but again, it's a TV show on CW, no less. So but my problem with Man of Steel isn't the film itself. I actually, it wasn't great at all. I mean, it was okay. That's not great. It's okay. But my problem with it is it now set the tone for Superman going forward. And that now Superman's always very serious and dark and more Batman-like than he is Superman. Superman's supposed to be more campy than Batman. He's supposed to be more, lighthearted, more warm. The animated series captured that perfectly. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, captured that perfectly as well. And for the show, to the show's credit, the new show, they do it's not super dark all the time. They do have light moments. Tyler Hoechlin, I think is the actor's name, does a really good Superman. I just don't like the visual style of the show, and that is, it's very typical, Hollywood in terms of visual aesthetics, all the technology and such. But my problem with it also is just Superman, not Superman's suit specifically, but Superman, like the color filter over the camera lens, and Superman's suit in terms of, not the design, but how it's always dirty. Like it's almost like he never cleans it. Why can't I exit the Yeah, Superman and Lois is very good. Superman is actually being Superman now, as long as CW doesn't screw it up, then won't have a problem. Yeah. Again, it's not like the best thing ever at all. Look, Lois and Clark is still better, in my opinion. Despite the fact that Superman and Lois is definitely visually better in terms of special effects. Alright, seriously, why the fuck can't I leave my ship?
Systems off.
Crusader Industries, a journey worth taking.
Systems on.
While I'm having glitches here, continue the chat. Indeed, Zack Snyder just didn't understand the DC universe. I liked Superman's suit in the debut. A good callback to the Fleischer suit. Yeah, the flashback suits. This flashbacks suit. Yeah, I love that suit. You wanna know why? Because of red fucking underwear. It breaks up the blue. It breaks up the solid, just blue spandex, and it adds a little color. Makes it pop more. Okay, I'm just not going to be able to leave my ship, apparently. And now there's a black void coming for me. Oh, it disappeared. This glitch has been reported before. And this ship does not have a ejection seat. And if it did, it means I just turned this ship into a glorified paperweight. So. We're totally having issues. You know what? We're just gonna go to the main menu and join a new server. Hey there, Raytheon 2. Alright, so let's try this again. It's gonna load for a bit. Everyone says, I figured out how Snyder could have explained why his DC heroes were different from what fans were used to. Darkseid captured Flash, hijacked his Speed Force, traveled back to alter the League's origins. No, because there are, like, Elseworld stories where the League is dark. It's just, when you're doing, and that's what the movies are, you know, like, look, let's be honest, for better or for worse, the movies are Elseworld, are essentially just another Elseworld or What If story that's been turned into a continuous comic title, but in the form of a movie. PTU, Ray, PTU. Which is why all the bugs. But with the Snyderverse stuff, like, I never really had all this hype and this and that, like with the Snyderverse that everyone else seems to have. I really just didn't care. Like, Man of Steel came out, and then BVS, and I just didn't really... Like, I was excited for BVS, not because it was Batman v Superman. I hated that they were fighting, because, they're super best friends, but I figured, okay, the movie would introduce the characters, and they'd be on live action on screen together for the first time. and it was disappointing, to say the least. It didn't help that when I saw it in theaters that I had one of those kids that's annoyingly making stupid comments and kicking my my chair. Like, I literally had that, you know, typical, almost cartoon-like annoying movie experience when I watched that film. It was real detrimental to my experience, but the film itself, I did later rewatch the Ultimate Edition with my father, and we both were kind of like, still not great, and it took the 3-hour version to make it decent from horrible. Also, the fact that Lex Luthor in that movie is Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse Luthor. Is Xenothreat fixed? I don't know, Ray. It's only on the weekends, so if they do another Xenothreat, it's going to be this weekend. I missed my chance to play it because I only got into the PTU yesterday. Well, actually I got in Saturday night, but I didn't play until yesterday. Also, I don't think I'm wearing a helmet. This will be the second time I load in without a helmet on. I'm gonna equip some MedPens because, based on the shenanigans I was doing earlier, MedPens would have been nice to have. Okay, I do like this, that you can have all 4 MedPens instead of OxyPens and MedPens only. Like separate things for each utility, instead you can just mix and match the utilities. But I don't know if Xenothreat's fixed. But they did add some new features. My friend Cam was telling me that they had added gear, like helmets and armor, like CDF specific helmet and armor for participating in the event, or depending on how you rank in the event. So that's pretty cool. Really hope I didn't get back into the same server.
The next shuttle is approaching the station.
To the hangars, get a ship.
The next shuttle is approaching the station.
Perfect timing.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Please clear the hatch. Shuttle will be departing.
You'll have to excuse my chair. To continue what Mega Jetty was saying, he can't just kill the Justice League, as it could alter his own timeline for the worse, so instead he messes with the League's past to weaken them by the time they first meet. At the, I mean, sounds like a, honestly, it sounds kind of, that sounds like a bad comic book plot. Or at the very best, a Elseworlds comic book plot that didn't sell well. I feel like that's been done. Like, I'm not saying that to be insulting. If I am, I apologize. That's not that's not what I'm trying to do. I feel like that's been done before. And it also just feels kind of like an excuse for, okay, we couldn't write these characters well, so we're going to use the excuse that it was the villain's fault instead of, you know, the incompetency of the writers. Magdalene says, instill doubt into Clark so he would be an ineffective hero. And then he continues saying, yes, Jesse Eisenberg was just wasn't Lex Luthor, he'd have been a better Riddler, and they'd have been better off getting Bryan Cranston as Lex. Really, anyone as Lex.
Passengers, the shuttle is preparing to depart.
I should rephrase. Magazine 1, it's a good idea if that's the intent of your story. Like, if you're starting your story with that in mind, but they clearly weren't. You know, and when you're doing that, it kind of just feels like an excuse. More so than a plot point. That's what I'm getting at. And Ray says, Snyder Cut was a stronger plot for me. I still haven't seen the Snyder Cut. And that's mainly just because I haven't made time to watch a 4-hour movie. I mean, every time I do a live stream, I'm pretty much live for like 6 hours straight. Yeah, anyone that's my average. But I haven't watched the Snyder Cut. I saw the original. Obviously, that was a. I'm just gonna say this. I'm glad I caught it on cable. Oh, here's that burger joint I was talking about, Mega Jenny. Whammers. Cave in to your craven.
Smart buy.
Have a burger.
Engineering Team Bravo to hangar H1. Engineering Team Bravo, you are needed in
That's not my face. I worked hard on creating a character's face, and now it's gone. It's okay, it's the PTU. Nothing's really permanent or lasts anyways. Wow. No wonder my guy's face looks like that. Just down to those things.
Join us in celebrating 100 years of incredible engineering and the tireless efforts of those who
But yeah, no, the Snyder Cut was, I hear it's really good. I've heard mixing. I hear some things saying it's really good. I hear some things just saying that it's okay, it's better. Which, honestly, like, not the, crap on the Snyder Cut. I haven't seen it, so I really can't. Just on principle, I really can't judge it. But just saying it's better than Justice League isn't saying much, because Justice League wasn't exactly that great to begin with.
experiencing a mild sense of vertigo as they acclimate to the elevation. Remember to breathe
But yeah, so
and take plenty of rest.
that's just my opinion on it. Magazine One says, I still say a good modern take on Lex Luthor should have been him. Or should have him, instead of owning LexCorp, he is a founder of either DC's version of Amazon, or even a newspaper rival to the Daily Planet, Lexpress. Lexpress. That's actually. What if he was a coffee? LexCorp makes coffee machines. They call them Lexpressos.
With outlaw activity on the
Lexpresso machines.
hostilities across the Empire increasing daily, we can find ourselves wondering where to turn. Crusader has the answer, the Ares Starfighter, designed as the
I haven't flown the Terrapin in 8. I'm gonna fly the Terrapin.
fleet will cause vehicles of any class to think twice before causing trouble. The Ares Starfighter, a force to be reckoned with.
I mean, you can still do stuff like that with LexCorp. Like, LexCorp can just own a newspaper. It doesn't have to... You don't have to change the character greatly to essentially write a story. And that's the thing, is I think a lot of writers just aren't capable of just simply writing good stories today. See it all the time. That's why I love Star Citizens, because these guys are actually capable and they care. Like, it's evident through just walking around the world, and you see things like, as I mentioned earlier with the controller, if you're playing Star Citizen with a controller and you're walking around Orison, every now and then when the maneuvering thrusters kick in to keep Orison aloft and afloat, you're going to feel a vibration on your controller. They didn't need to do that at all. But they did, and I'm on the wrong side. But they did, and... you gotta you gotta give him credit where credit's due. still, L'Expresso's kind of. I gotta out of this finger.
All systems online.
Whoa, that frame rate for the engines switching from VTOL to regular flight was not good at all. Still, the engine effects look cool. Oh fuck. Okay. Where even is my... There it is. Alright, that could have been worse. Could have exploded. And everyone says, no worries, that is a plot I would like to implement into my story. I just thought it might have helped the Snyderverse. Maybe it would, maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. Saw a few clips of the Snyder Cut, but not the whole film. Personally, despite the director being a POS, Justice League was better. Oh, Justice League was... I didn't enjoy it. Just being a huge Batman and Superman fan, I didn't enjoy it. I'm personally also not a fan of Cyborg being part of the Justice League. It works in the Justice League Doom movie because that's a movie set in an established universe where, okay, like, you know, Cyborg's been a member of the Titans for years now. Like, this is, like, in the point of time in that movie, you know, Nightwing's Nightwing already. You know, the Teen Titans are all grown up. This is a Justice League with a lot of experience under their belt, that whole thing. But here, like with the New 52, I didn't like Cyborg being a Justice League member. Especially since he still had the Teen Titans and he wasn't part of it. Just made no sense to me. Only the scene where Flash falls on Wonder Woman's chest. Oh, if only for that scene. We all wish we were the Flash in that moment. I actually didn't like that scene. And I can understand why people like it. I just didn't like the humor. Kind of funny now, like you look at all the Joss Whedon stuff. You know, Joss Whedon did Aliens Resurrection, the Aliens 4, with Ron Perlman and Sigourney Weaver back as a Ripley clone, xenomorph hybrid thing, and it was a weird movie. But definitely more interesting than Joss Whedon's Justice League movie. Maybe one says, I do believe LexCorp bought out the Daily Planet once or twice over the years. I think even in Smallville that had that happen. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is that, you know, you can have LexCorp just buy or have their own newspaper thing or, you know, rival type company for whatever story you're going for. Especially since, depending on the continuity, LexCorp usually tends to be like this massive mega corporation that does everything. You know, from like military weapons and drones and robots to household appliances to you know, building civil engineering stuff, building you know, construction of buildings and bridges and what have you. Like, I think in the animated series, he says, "I literally built Metropolis." Or something. And Major One says, "I'll say one thing: Spider-Verse is better than Snyderverse." I agree, assuming we're talking about the animated movie and not the comic book of the same name, or comic book story of the same name. God, that comic! I hated the Spider-Verse comic, which is why I was not looking forward to the film. And then eventually I saw it anyways, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. But yeah, that Snyderverse is not really that great. You have like a few good gems here. Wonder Woman was good. Not 2017's Wonder Woman was really good. Obviously Man of Steel, for, you know, whether you hate it or love it. Personally, I guess I said earlier, I enjoyed it. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best thing ever. You know, we've had better Superman movies. It just, this wasn't, you know, absolute garbage. It just wasn't that great. Shazam was good too, also. You know, no, it's not, you know, it wasn't all bad. It just wasn't really, there was no greatness in it. There was nothing that stood out that was amazing. It was kind of just anywhere from mediocre to pretty good at best. And then at worst you had BVS and Justice League. Like, I will never be, I'll never get over seeing Batman being turned into like this murderous Punisher type character. Just insane. Also, thanks to BVS, we're never going to see a live-action adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns for a long time. I remember saying that when I was walking out of the theater. Because it steals a lot of elements from The Dark Knight Returns, despite prior to the film's release, that they said that they're not basing this off of any other pre-existing comic book story, and then proceed to base it off of The Dark Knight Returns, the death of Superman. You know, the two biggest stories for each of those characters, arguably. Cyborg should not be in the Justice League until he is older and more experienced. Until then, he is always a teen titan. Yeah, agreed. You know, and, you know, once they're all older, like, you know, when Robin's Nightwing, you know, when they're all older and that, you know, like where Nightwing and Starfire are married and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, then you can have them be Justice League members. That's kind of what I liked about the show Young Justice. They had an episode where you have the Justice League kind of, you know, arguing, okay, what are the criteria for becoming a member of the Justice League? And, you know, then they bring up the elephant in the room, Billy Batson, 10-year-old that says the word Shazam, becomes Captain Marvel, Earth's mightiest mortal. And, you know, they talk about how, you know, maybe he shouldn't be here because he is only 10 years old. And then they talk about, you know, like, if 18's the age requirement, Miss Martian is like 48 or something Earth years old, so, but she's got the, you know, because of Martian physiology or whatever, she's mentally like an Earth teenager, so. I'm just flying out of the atmosphere here. Aim for those clouds. Yeah, Alien Resurrection was terrible. What was he smoking that day? It was terrible, but at the same time, it was more enjoyable than Justice League, for me anyways. And that's saying something. How bad was the Spider-Verse comic? I've said this before, but it's pretty much... It's not just... It wasn't like a animated series, Spider-Wars, a multiple, series, episode... was it like a 3-parter, I think? It wasn't like the Spider-Wars 3-parter from the animated series, or Shattered Dimensions, or the Spider-Verse movie, where you only had like anywhere between 4 to 6 versions of the character, each one being extremely different from the other. Like, it wasn't like, okay, you had Spider-Man, classic Spider-Man, you had Ultimate Spider-Man, you had Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Man 2099, and you had the Japanese girl with the robot, or you had Spider-Ham. It wasn't that. You had essentially every version of Spider-Man from every What If comic and storylines and stuff like that. So they even included like previous versions of the characters from like a month ago. So you had like a character that, so he's essentially meeting like time remnants of himself from like 2 weeks ago and shit. And it's essentially, you have like 3 billion versions of the same character, each with like maybe minute differences between them. Like, okay, one's still wearing the black suit. Aside from that, their lives are identical. It's like, there's no difference. There's nothing that makes it interesting, and and when you see that, and based on what the story was about, and how they're pretty much all just like food for this evil villain type character, it's like, okay, so you're saying is that this character isn't special at all because there's a shit ton versions of him, none of which are really that different from him. It's not like with Spider-Man 2099, he's a completely different person. What makes him Spider-Man is that at his core, he has the same characteristics as Spider-Man, as Peter Parker. That being that, regardless of self-sacrifice, he does the right thing. Like, he lost his fiancée because he was doing the right thing. At the end of the day, yeah, it sucks, but you're doing the right thing over what's right for you. And whereas the Spider-Verse movie did a good job because they had, similarly to Shattered Dimensions, you had these very, very different versions of the character. Even Ultimate Spider-Man from regular Spider-Man is very different. That's, to quote what Madam Web, present day out of sync, or to quote Marvel at the time they created the Marvel Ultimate Spider-Man comics. It was to bring in viewers from the 2000s without retconning or rebooting the classic characters, regardless of the fact that they were doing that anyways in the comics at the time. Retconning and rebooting the characters in the mainstream comics, so... But, it was a very different world from... And Peter Parker himself was very different from classic Spidey. In Ultimate Comics, I mean. The Ultimate Spidey was different from classic Spidey. And you have, Noir was there, the robot, the Japanese girl with the robot, and, you had the Spider-Gwen. I'm personally not a fan. I don't understand why she's even popular. But whatever, to each their own. But you had very different versions of the character. Only a few of them were another version of Peter Parker. You had Spider-Ham, Peter Porker. So... Let's see if they actually have the threat thing. They probably don't. Appointment. Ruto. I want to visit Ruto. It's gonna make me go on garbage runs. Screw you, Ruto. Yes, it was that bad, Bagajay. That is how not to tell a multiverse story about a character. Exactly. If you're gonna do an alternate dimension thing, even take the Justice League cartoon. They did, I don't remember what the episode was called, but with the Justice Lords, where they had the evil version of their selves, where it's like, okay, sometime in the future they Luthor became president and Superman killed Luthor after Luthor killed the Flash. And then the Justice League started essentially ruling the Earth. Take Injustice too, you know, like they have the same history as the classic DC, but you know, something like a major event happened that just completely made them take the wrong fork in the road, you know? Altering their history and resulting in a very different alternate reality. Let's see, I'm behind on the chat here. Let's see, what did I miss? Everyone says, most people don't like Wonder Woman 84, but I actually enjoyed it. I saw it as DC's Bumblebee. It's a soft reboot from the flat, trashy films. I hated it. Felt like a really dialogue was awful. The plot was messy everywhere and made no sense at the same time. And it was shot like a chick flick. But to each their own. By the way, did you see the upload I posted on Discord of the fan game footage for Batman 89? Yes, it was taken down by YouTube. Warner Brothers already claimed the content. I'm not so sure how long that Batman 89 fan game is going to last, which is unfortunate because I was like, when I saw that, I was very interested. Who is a better love interest for Nightwing, Barbara Gordon or Starfire? Starfire. Two words, or one word actually. Nightfire. Or Nightstar, sorry, Nightstar. Look up DC's Nightstar and you'll see why. Everyone says, yeah, these big superhero teams like the Justice League and Avengers need to have some kind of requirements in order for someone to be a member. I mean, not everyone can be a member, cost Spider-Man. Well, in the classic comics, before they kind of fucked everything up, post-90s, and even in post-90s and 2000s, he was an active member, but in the 90s, he was a reserve member of the Avengers, which pretty much means that unless, you know, pretty much if the active roster was not available for something, he would be called, which was not often. But he was a card-carrying Avenger at one point. Just, he wasn't part of the active team because he's not... It's not that he's not a team player, he's best as a solo act. Like, yeah, he can partner with people. You know, Daredevil, the Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm, Wolverine, Beast, but partnering, doing a small team-up, is a hell of a lot different than being part of a team. Because there's only 2 people or 3 people that have to, you know, like, okay, just throw ideas at each other and then go about something, whereas a team means there's probably someone leading and you have to follow orders. Very different dynamic. Anyone says, I'm trying to do something like that with Blue Shogun, but in reverse. His goal is to get his desires, but the world's problems are hindering him. That's interesting. I kind of want to see how that plays out. Anyone says, that's how I felt Injustice 2 was lacking. More of the true Justice League affecting the Injustice universe. It also, my problem with Injustice 2 is it feels like a completely different dimension, a completely different reality from even the Injustice reality from the first game. Like, now, I feel like we're kind of looking at a third reality now with Injustice 2. And that's probably because they were following a lot of the comic book stuff that came out after the game. They did what was it? 5 different volumes or something. They did a bunch of comic book prequels to the Injustice comics, which were very much breaking the continuity that was established in the game. I read some of them, and and my first thing was, why are they wearing the classic DC costumes from the game and not the Injustice costumes? Now, granted, some of the characters were wearing brand new costumes as of the game's time, but characters like that you see in the flashback where it's Superman and Batman, where Superman kills the Joker, they're wearing the same costumes as they are during the game's story. Except Batman's costume is now all beat up and scratched, but at the time it wasn't. You know, so they should have been wearing the same costumes as their Injustice costumes. You know, and then you have the fact that they just do a lot of things that kind of contradict the games, or at least the game at the time. The second one didn't come out yet. They kind of go full spectacle, you know, with a bunch of magic nonsense and all sorts of stuff. The kind of simple story that Injustice had just became... The comic is more... it's more reminiscent of Marvel's Civil War than the game is, and not in a good way. In that it's just a huge, bombastic spectacle that's kind of nonsensical. And that's why Injustice 2 is the way it is, because it was going based on the comic books, as well as the comics that came out between the games. Like, they made comics that take place between the two games prior to the release of Injustice 2. I read those as well. Good art, but you know, the storytelling was not cool. Major One says, I know it sucks that the Batman 89 fan game was taken down. Warner Brothers is a bunch of little pricks. If they had any good sense, they'd hire that guy to make that game for them, but no, their ego can't take it. Yeah, well, that's what Valve does. You know, Black Mesa was originally a fan project that they decided to turn into a full-on Half-Life remake titled Black Mesa. It's Half-Life in the Half-Life 2 source engine. And it is fucking amazing. Highly recommend it if you're a fan of Half-Life. Everyone also says, I mean, the good league overthrew the bad league, so somehow they'd have to fill the void in that reality, hence why reformed Harley aids Batman. So why did good Diana leave so bad Diana can escape? Well, they're not going to stay in that reality. They have their own reality, their homes, their family and friends, and the classic DC universe that they had to go back to at the end. I'm not saying that they should have stayed in that reality. No, I don't think they need... Like, the sequel didn't need to have the, you know, classic league come back. I just think that the story they did do was not great. That's right, Marvel did 2 Civil Wars, didn't they? Neither of which were particularly great. I mean, I wasn't a fan of them. Second one especially, considering how Captain Marvel, quote-unquote, I'm sorry, but if I'm quoting, I'm doing that because he ain't Captain Marvel. Billy Batson's Captain Marvel. At least the original. In terms of Marvel Captain Marvel, you got Captain Marvel, and then you have, of the Kree Star Force, and then you have, the, Monica Rambeau, who was definitely a cooler character. considering how she had her own title for a while. First Marvel Civil War started good with a conflict of ideas, but halfway in, Goliath died, the story devolved in a senseless action fest with no logical reason for Cap losing. He should have won. Then again, there should have been an ending where both Cap and Iron Man were right. They'd have found a peaceful resolution. After all, that's what real heroes do. Yeah, but then again, you're talking about post-2000 Marvel, which, you know, with the exception of Ultimate Comics and some of the other alternate dimension stories, you know, Noir, etc., 1602, you know, the main continuity was a complete fucking mess for the entirety of the 21st century. Which is why a lot of comic book fans that I know, like my friends and I, like we all kind of dipped off mid to late 2000s latest. Like that was the you know, a lot of people I know dipped out earlier. You know, dipped out towards the, you know, at the end of the 90s or in the beginning of 2000 because of just the inconsistency and annoying change in direction for both the characters, their personalities, and the writing as a whole. This was before all the politically correct nonsense. Yep, looking at you one more day, son of a... Let's undo his marriage, because apparently we can't have the characters actually progress and develop further. No, that's not what Marvel's about. It's not like that's the thing they did in the comic book industry that literally, you know, set them apart from every other comic book publisher at the time. Actually having the characters evolve. And just debating. I'll take out the blue. Got a ship I don't usually play. Let's take out this. I believe it has energy. And since Joe Quesada took over Marvel, it's been a downward spiral. Yeah. It's interesting because he did a good story, Iron Man story in the 90s. I believe it was him, where his armor becomes sentient. It was like a one-off story post Iron Man's death. For anyone who doesn't know, the classic original Iron Man, Tony Stark, died in 1995 at the hands of King the Conqueror. They never brought him back. So. Everyone says, I'll say this, if I took over Marvel, I'd make some good big changes. First, apologize to DC so that we can get back the DC plus Marvel crossovers. I mean, the first one was good. I never really read the second one. I mean, like, the first one, it was good, but at the same time, I was a kid and I enjoyed the hell out of it because, oh look, it's Superman and Spider-Man together. Like now, I kind of like, nah, they got their own little universes. I'm fine with that. Like that's just crossovers as a whole. You know, if we're talking like in-universe crossovers, you know, like Spider-Man crossing over with Doctor Strange for a team-up or something, yeah, that all for that. You know, we need more of that. You know, Marvel team-up. You know, there was a comic title in the 70s, Marvel team-up. I loved Marvel team-up. I had a volume pack of Marvel team-up as a kid that I wore out and had to buy it twice again because I wore out the second copy too. Falling apart, staples fell out, the pages were no longer holding in place. But they like franchise crossovers, I'm not a huge fan of, because a lot of the time they don't really work. Like here's an example of one that does work. G.I. Joe and Transformers. Those work. Because Marvel, who effectively created Transformers lore as we know it in the comics, because the G1 comics came out before the cartoon show, and I mean by like a month or so, but still. And you know, they also did the same thing for the G.I. Joe stuff. You know, they had the comic book and then they had the cartoon, so they kind of had, and they had the continuities kind of interact with each other from the get-go in the comics, so it can work. It also helps that they're kind of essentially just copy-paste in terms of, like, being real here. Look at G1 and then look at the 80s G.I. Joe continuity, and you go, okay, it's pretty much, they're identical, except Joe's are the Autobots and the Cobra's the Decepticons. And instead of, you know, world domination, one's about galactic domination, galactic conquest and destruction, plunging for resources. The other one is, you know, it's like there's not really a huge difference, which is probably why they work. Like we're jumping all the way back later. Alright, before we do that, I'm going to jump. Excuse me. I'm going to jump to Microtech, right over there. I want to visit the hospital at New Babbage and do some dogfighting around. Let's see. Measure 1 says, second, undo one more day and have Peter marry and MJ married with a child whom he's trying to train and instill responsibility, showing that even as a father he struggles with responsibility. And third, have Kamala Khan find the real Carol Danvers who's still Miss Marvel, and have them defeat the fake Captain Carol. Carol resumes Miss Marvel and Kamala has to come up with her own identity. The first Marvel DC crossover was Superman vs. Spider-Man. Neither was in a separate universe. They were in the same Earth. It worked. I know, I said I liked the first one. But like that's really it. I didn't like the others. It's a fun little story where you had like Lois and MJ shopping together, and Superman breaking his hands on Spider-Man's breaking his hands on Superman's chest, trying to punch him. They also had that amalgamation verse, whatever, the Amalgaverse or whatever, where you had like Batman, Wolverine, Superboy, Spider-Man. Looks like we're being interdicted here. Hostile? Hostile. Ah, shit. I need to change a keybind real quick. Could be light movement. Weapons. No. Countermeasure. I gotta change that then. Make it right alt. Amalgam was pretty interesting. I feel we should have got something like that in Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Enjoyed this long chat, but I gotta go now. Getting ready for dinner. Alright, Megs81, thanks for tuning in. How long has it been going? Only 3 hours? Only? Feels longer. Hey look, frame rate's good here. No, we're not at Crusader. Is this a cargo deck one or a refinery? I can't remember. Refinery. I do want to do some combat before I end the stream for today, because I am going to be live later tonight on Twitch, as I am every Monday night. forever. This armor would look really cool without the backpack. I mean, not that the backpack's bad, I just, you know, it's great for inventory and stuff. I'm just saying, like, you don't want to have the backpack on. And eventually we will be able to take the backpacks off, so it will look cool without it. Doesn't seem like Xeno threats happening. I think it is only during the weekend, so unfortunate, but well, we'll do it again on the weekend. Everyone was wondering why I'm left. Here. Hold on. You're supposed to see something. Hold on, there you go. A friend of mine is sending me funny images. Oh, that's perfect. Everyone run into that guy. Oh yeah, that sucks, man. Yeah, can you help us? Can't you read between the lines? And of course, the best one of all. My plane has a gun. My gun has a plane. We all know that the A, well, not the best dogfighter, but the best. And we're at Crusader. We're gonna go to Port Olisar, at our landing zone. Maybe fly through the clouds later.
Hello, and thank you for contacting Eden.
Contacted you yet? Don't thank me. Sure.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Someone's going in for a fight somewhere. Crap, that looks like a ballistic Gatling. Come to OM1, so I'm reading the in-game chat, and the guy... Then I look around, and I was like, this isn't microtech. Crap, I'm on Hurston! And now I'm just picturing some guy waking up, walking around, and going like, wait a minute, this isn't microtech. I'm not New Babbage. No! I'm on Hurston! No! Someone help me! Someone! No! You don't want to be on Hurston. No one wants to be on Hurston. It's got universal acclaim for everyone not wanting to be there. And it's all for like lore reasons. That and the metro, their metro rail is a mess. That was good though. Wait a minute, this isn't Microtech. I'm on Hurston. Oh no. Oh, so I was about to start scanning like crazy. Speaking of which though, done. XR like that. Liking to do scanning. Nice. More information on. Model, salted outline Ballistic. Now scanning. Time for shooting. I think I'm not the only one involved in this fight. Ah shit, I have all ballistics. This is gonna... Given the amount of ammo I have, that is not going to be good. At least I have size 3 shields. Actually, no I don't. I have size 2. I'll check later. Just know that I might be better off than this guy. It's a Mustang Delta, but you know, at the same time, he lands missiles on. And again, I have missiles too. Okay, so you can just blindly fire missiles now? There we go. Come on. Ah. Come on. I want to test out the new missile operator mode. very stiff at combat right now. I don't know why the ship just feels sluggish. It could just be the server tick right though, or desync. I mean, don't want to blame those for my skills, but I don't know. That's the thing, because I've been getting inconsistent performance in this patch. So. There we go. Well, at least I still got it. I should probably go into Arena Commander and kind of like read myself with this. That would be the smart thing to do. Wow, I'm out of ammo. That did not last long. I wasn't even able to take out one ship. Okay, so missiles it is then. Build a turret at least. So I gotta get these. I need to get within 1 kilometer. Or, sorry, outside of 1 kilometer. He's within it. Come on. Closer. I have no ammo right now. So. I am close enough. Can I just fire a missile like a gun? I just fire a missile right at him. I just get real close. Essentially turn a missile into a rocket. I am not a threat to you. I have no weapons. Except for this missile I'm trying to fire. And honestly, at this point, I'm probably better off just trying to like, blow them up that way. Don't know if what they'll do to me. So. I now have 2 missiles left. If I screw this up, I'm not gonna be able to kill him. Still going. Damn. I'm too close to lock on. Or is it locked? $115, 225 rounds is not enough, clearly. And there goes my last missile. At least the last Dominator too. Maybe I have more of other type missiles. Huh? I do! 4 more missiles to use. They also require a decent range. Alright, we're just gonna fly out a bit. No doubt he's following me. Almost within range. Shit. Wow. This is the first time I'm seeing Crusader from the moon distance. The new Crusader, I mean. Really good. Obviously not the same as it used to be, but please don't be with click. Yes. Oh shit. Theoretically, I should be able to outrun the missile. Eventually run out of fuel and just become a inert, well, not inert, an active bomb. That's not jail. Blow up. That was a hit. And that's all my missiles. The only thing I have left is the turret. I don't think this guy needs my help to kill him. Perfect. Looks like Ballistic though. How much ammo? 150 rounds. We have FPS weapons that have more ammo than it. That was cool though. Satisfaction guaranteed. Time to refuel, rearm. And if need be, repair. So all Ballistic, yeah, you can't, not in this patch. They need, unless they increase it to, I'd say, 1,000? Oh shit. And that's not good. Game crashed, yay! Oh, we have to claim the ship anyways, I guess. Actually, that's kind of a perfect ending. We got a good, not solid explosion. Tested out the combat. It plays nice. I'm personally not a fan of having to switch to missile operator mode. In this specific case, it wasn't a problem because I ran out of ammo, so it was my only option to fire until I decided just to get in the turret. But when you're in a really heavy active combat, a dogfight, and you actually have the ammo, and you're actually using your guns, then you want to fire a missile so that they're trying to evade the missile, so you can then continue firing at them. You're not gonna be, that's, yeah, not single seaters can't have missile operator mode be a separate thing. Although it is not anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be, in terms of like, okay, you have to press the button to open the missile operated mode. It's kind of instant. I actually didn't even realize I opened it at one point. So, you know, that's fine. I see it's not even working right now. But yeah, dogfighting's pretty cool now. I mean, it was fun before. It's definitely more hands-on. Again, I did use a Vanguard. I do need to try it with a smaller ship, with a size 1 or 2. Maybe I'll take the Cutlass Blue out, or another fighter like an Arrow. You know, outfit it the way I want, and take it out for a spin. But that's going to do it all for today. If you want to catch me again today, I will be live over on Twitch. You can find me there at twitch.tv/themandalorian_Merc, same as my game name. It's my Star Citizen handle. And if you're just lazy and want a link, it's on the channel. Like, just go to the channel page right here, right? Bam. There you have it. You're now at the Puzzle Tough. But yeah, there you have it. Also, if you want to support the channel, share, thumbs up, subscribe. That's didn't like it, thumbs down. Tell me, give it a thumbs down. Tell me why you didn't like it in the comment section, because I can improve your feedback and see what I did. Know if I did anything wrong, or if I just need to improve on. If you want to help support me in a more personal way, we got the eBay store and Teespring store in the description below. And if you want to chat with us and out, got Discord. So also in the description below. So that's gonna wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, this is the Merc of Cast in the Shadows, and remember to treat others. You want to be treated.